Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We are going to talk about the top 4 ways that we heated our greenhouse for free all winter and provided food for ourselves and our family. And we got a great early start to the market, and we extended our season to year-round with these free methods. And I want to kind of describe them all today because I'm always sharing little tidbits of everything, but all together in one video. Here we go. We've got our solar powered compost heating. We're going to come around the greenhouse and go check the inside. So we've got a huge area dedicated to our compost heating. We have all of this 14 cubic yards of compost, actually wood chips, that we inoculated to provide a lot of heat with. And we are actually making a little bit of biochar down here right now with a little dug out fire pit. So that is why we have smoke. You can see our huge compost pile. We're going to head inside the greenhouse and we're going to go actually check out how we're using all of this. So here we are in the greenhouse. We've got a warm greenhouse today. We've got all of our shade cloths on, and we're really not needing any of our extra heat today. We are cooking a little bit and making some tea and stuff, and we're pulling a little bit of heat off of our Geothermal Heating still, which we started last November. So we use that compost heat to power this greenhouse throughout the entire winter, throughout those negative temperatures during the polar vortex, and we had great success with this, and we're still putting a little bit of heat off. I'm going to kick this back on here, and if you want to come check this out, we're going to see what kind of temps we actually got coming out of our Geothermal heating here. So we are still blowing a cool 71, 74, between 70 and 75 degrees coming out of that tube and putting that heat into the floor of our greenhouse. So all of those wood chips were absolutely free. Once we invested all of our solar systems, our solar panels where we started out there, and all the solar controllers, extra batteries and whatnot, and we got all the pumps, all of those one-time purchases are investments. So we're reusing those investments year after year to produce all of this heat, and all of the wood chips are getting dumped for free. So that is how this is being done for absolutely $0. Once we have our first investments out of the way, we can basically heat our greenhouse for free the entire winter. Aside from heating up this water here, we are actually heating up some air still, which we have a fire going. So all of these bricks back here, our compost heated air is blowing through the bricks. Yes, our door is open because it is definitely warm in here. I'm going to shed my sweatshirt here in a second. We're heating this air and the water. We've got a decent airflow coming out, same as our geothermal over here. So that is the next topic. We have our geothermal heating, and back to all of our solar powered systems. One powers the water moving and the other is powering air. And we also have another solar heating box down underneath to power all of the systems that we're pulling off of our stove. But that is the next topic. So let's check out our geothermal tube. This is the most simplistic and easy to put together geothermal setup I've ever done or seen, because it is a simple, like $5 fan running off solar power and a free battery I had. And we had dug this out. We can come down to the other side. So our geothermal comes out down at this end right here. If you look down in there, you can almost hear the actual geothermal running through that 50 to 60 feet of tubes. Now we buried our geothermal under our walkway about 8 feet, and the typical geothermal is about 10 feet deep. So if you're done correctly, you can get 50 degrees constantly, summer or winter. And if you do your geothermal large enough, you don't have to have any additional heating sources. You can just basically sustain a greenhouse, if it's well insulated, through the entire winter just off geothermal alone. And it proved itself this winter. We had a tunnel that was just basically climate controlled by geothermal, and that was very successful for us. So even on a nice warm day, we are going to blow about 56, 55 degrees constantly coming out. So we are constantly cooling the floor of the greenhouse, and we've got a whole bunch of tricky times right now because the sunny warm times we had to get our shade cloths on, but yet it's very cold overnight. So we're starting fires in the morning and making ourselves tea and cooking out here. So there's a whole lot of aspects that go into your greenhouse and heating, and geothermal and solar power together are another great free heating aspect that everybody should be picking up on for their greenhouse. So that geothermal really helps those overnight temperatures. We are holding no less than 59 degrees constantly overnight in this greenhouse because we're able to achieve all of that free energy with solar power and basically continue the steady climate control of the greenhouse and keep it more regulated, as opposed to heating up in the day and cooling off too much at night. So the next thing I want to check out is our actual wood stove here. So this wood stove was from the 1950s or 60s. I picked it up for $100 and kind of cleaned it up a little bit. It is even dirtier than when I bought it because we've been using it a ton. So we added a whole bunch of free systems, and this is an awesome way because we've got all types of wood from pallets. We've got wood chips. We've been drying our wood chips out. So every free source of wood we could find, we are taking advantage of and drying it out, and we are going to be really ready for next winter in prepping for all of the wood that we will probably burn. So aside from having a free fuel source and just a one-time investment getting this stove hooked up, so I spent $100 on the stove, and I probably spent about $90 to $100 on the actual routing of all the piping all the way out, so this is exhausted and running properly, flue installed and everything. So after I got everything installed, I went around and I was picking up free bricks and really cheap bricks. We have our fan running back here blowing very warm air off of these bricks, about 110 degrees, 115 degree air blowing off this brick, keeping our tea warm. There are tons of ways to actually pull that heat off. This is a heat exchanger, so you will run your water through there after heating it up on your stove, and you will be able to blow a fan, kind of like our little brick stove setup where we're pulling all that heat off of those bricks and blowing it right through the holes on there. So we've also got this copper coil. This is our latest experiment. We're going to get this rigged up after we clean out our actual stack and stuff, because we've been burning a lot of stuff in there. We want to get our stove cleaned out and ready for the next burn season next winter. So we've got lots and lots of methods for pulling that heat off. Like with our copper coil, we'll be able to run the water back in and dump all the hot water back into our overflow tank for our John Payne heating. Now the fourth and final free heating method is passive solar heating. So any type of sunlight you get, when our stove isn't running, our bricks do pick up a lot of heat and they hold them a lot better than concrete into the night. Now another great heat sinking source is a big steel tank or steel drums or plastic drums. We've got water in here, and this tank is sitting 62, 66 degrees. So that is a decent temperature, and it is only early in the morning. It's about 9:30 in the morning, and we are getting all of this temperature raised up in the whole greenhouse. We've got our door open back here because we've been doing a ton of work in and out, and we are venting a little bit of the heat because it is definitely warm in here with our fire. I got my t-shirt on, but it's really only about 30 degrees outside. It is still below freezing. So I wanted to jump down to this end because I had some of my egg painted bricks. Now this is just egg yolk and wood ash or biochar. So I was able to sink all of the extra heat. Now the difference between light and dark when it is winter time, you are going to be able to pull 15 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit more off a dark surface that is the same material than a light surface of the same material. There is going to be 15 to 20 degrees between the two. Having a dark heat sink is going to definitely benefit you, and we have lots and lots of experiments here that were dedicated to heating all winter long. Like this actual water heater, it's quite dirty right now, but we have our black copper coil. Whole lots of free energy going into that. We were using the sun, capturing the heat and transferring it to water and heating up this tank. So we're passively heating all of this water up throughout the day. Even if there's not a whole lot of sunlight, it still ran a little bit of water. So the next heat sink project was this little solar air heater. We got those little radiators in there, pulling that heat through this fan and sucking it from the bottom of the floor. So we were picking up a little bit of extra heat. We've got this water drum passively heating up with all of these dark bricks in here. All of this stuff is very dirty right now because it is not really needed, and we're kind of cleaning everything up and changing all of the layout of the greenhouse for the springtime here. We're using all of those free little solar powered systems to pull some extra heat off of like little heating boxes and stuff like that. That is an awesome little benefit that you can add to your greenhouse that runs autonomously, that you don't have to click a button or you don't have to actually maintenance it very often. So the easier it is and the less maintenance, the better. And the more little free heating aspects you can do, you're saving a ton of money and you're putting all those cumulatively to work to heat your greenhouse and sink that heat into the night. So whether you're heating with compost or whether you're heating with a wood stove or whether you're using geothermal or whether you're using a passive solar type greenhouse, I want to hit my head here. So all four of those free heating methods are the flawless methods. They might be a little bit more work than just plugging a space heater in or hooking up a gas heater, but you don't have a bill. We don't have any bills in this greenhouse. We're able to dedicate any money that would have been allocated for bills into other aspects of the homestead. So we're doubling down on this, and we used all four of those methods cumulatively together this entire winter, and we had great success with it. So I wanted to share in one video of how all of those kind of went together. Every single one of them basically uses solar power, because in the true Jean Pain heating sense with our compost heating, I wanted to run that off solar, so everything else just began running off solar also. We don't have any electricity ran in the greenhouse. So using all the free energy from the sun, free heat from compost, free heat and stable energy from the earth. And if you're using free heat from wood chips or wood from your homestead, that is another great source, and you can really build upon a wood stove also. So there's a lot of things that you could pick up on. You could do one or the other, but I wanted to limit it to those four things because that's what I did this entire winter, and you can check out our channel and see how everything kind of came together and how it worked. And you can see all of the aspects in play during the winter months, and it was not an easy winter, but it was a lot easier than most because we had all of those heating systems and we were able to keep everything alive much better than we've ever been able to in the past. I'd like to thank everybody for watching this video and checking this out. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like all of this content. I want to give a huge shout out to all of my subscribers. You guys are awesome. You come up with great ideas and giving me good feedback that I really appreciate, and I utilize a lot of that. So thank you very much, and I will see you guys next time.